We're making an outline for the 8-sentence paragraph. So under the camera, that's what it looks like. I'm going to draw my lines. One line goes all the way across that top fold, and then the middle fold, and the bottom fold, and then I'm going to start at my top line and go down. Well, I got a pen. My name, class period, and this is O/L. O/L? What does that mean?
Hello, how did you do that? Oh no, you did the taking machine.
Outline. All right. Hey, while I'm at it, I'm going to number my spaces. 1,
You just said outline.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hey, wait a minute. How many sentences are we doing? How come I only have 7 spaces? What am I? Do we need a conclusion on an outline? No, we don't. We do not. So, yeah. So now we're going to color our spaces. I'm going to start with green. Verde. My other even numbers are amarillo. Rosita. So you guys, yellow, pink always go together. That's why, number-wise, the pink comes after the yellow. There we go. Nod your heads. Just look at your head. You guys. We've done this a bunch of times. Well, 3 or 4 times before. So, you guys, are we going to write any sentences on this outline?
Yes.
1 sentence. And in this case, that sentence is our claim. Remember, it's not a position because this is an argumentative writing piece. When we argue, we make a claim. When we tell about something, we take a position. So this is our claim. We're taking a side on these school rules. And when it's an 8-sentence paragraph, where do we put the according to?
Oh, yes. Stop the jams.
It's according to what? What tells me what my rights are? Yeah, I can say according to the Constitution, according to the Bill of Rights. Let's say according to the according to the Constitution, the school rule about
Guns.
whatever it is violates my rights. So I've left that blank because we're not all choosing the same rule. By the way, this, if you say the school rule about dress code, that's kind of awkward. You would just say the school's dress code violates my rights. Now, what did I put on mine here? So the school rule against profanity, so I'll say profanity or swearing violates my rights. Are you copying this sentence?
No.
Not exactly. You're going to put the one you chose in there. The school rule about cell phones, the school rule about the school's dress code, the school's closed campus rule violates. You have to say according to.
Yes, no.
If we look here, we could say, in the Constitution, it makes it clear that the school rule, based on the Bill of Rights, it's obvious that the school rule. So, if you guys remember, are we going to write any more sentences here?
No.
No, we're just dropping our ideas in place. And if I go back to my assignment, common good, Constitution, key ideals. Common good, Constitution, key ideals. Does that work? In fact, can I put the words common good here?
These rules suck.
Right.
But they do. What? No, it says you can't wear mittens, gloves, jerseys.
Yes.
School sucks. I mean, you can't. I didn't see this. But it's so fun.
Can't wear all the color canvas.
So, you guys, is this a sentence?
No.
So when we do our rough draft, we'll have to make this into a sentence. But right now, we are just getting our ideas in place. And for, what's the next thing then? What did my rubric say? Oh, this is the Constitution. So for swearing, which part of the Constitution do I want to use? Freedom of speech. What amendment is that in? There we go. So I am going to put, again, don't copy me unless that works for you too. First Amendment. And then this was those key ideals or principles. So I'm going to have to go to that list of ideals and principles, and I'm going to have to figure out which one of these goes with freedom of speech. What can I use for freedom of speech in here?
So which one are you looking at? The right one?
Freedom of speech, is that a civil right or a human
That's a
right?
human right.
Could I, so I could make that argument. Now, I'm not an expert on human rights, and if I chose that, I might have to maybe do a little reading or get on a computer and get at least a definition of human rights or civil rights. Is there freedom of speech? Is there another word on here that means freedom?
Yes.
Liberty. I might say that's the path of least resistance. I'm going to put liberty. The key ideal, democratic ideal of liberty. So now, whoops, I've got a claim. Holy moly. According to the Constitution, the school rule about swearing violates my rights. I know that the common good I have to address. I know that the First Amendment is where I'm going to make my argument. And I'm going to follow up my argument with this key ideal of liberty. So now, I just got to put the details in. I know what I'm going to say. I need the details. So the common good is my counterclaim What's the school's reason for not allowing swearing? Yes, sir.
So that we can have a healthy learning environment.
Yeah.
You are such a scientist. Why
These are perfect.
Any other reason?
like, okay, whatever you say.
Do some people get offended by swearing?
Yes.
Yes.
So perhaps students or teachers could get
Offended.
And couldn't they like
Offended.
sue them? Yeah, they could because that's what Mr. Jordan said.
well, actually, not only that, you could be charged with a misdemeanor crime.
The sauce.
See? Boom, guys.
So
You
now-
can get sued.
what does the First Amendment say?
The First Amendment says. But
Freedom.
that doesn't make sense. You can't say something or you can't say something. Make up their mind, man.
So free, and does freedom of speech only mean talking?
No.
What else?
It's like what your message.
What you choose to say.
That's right. So
So isn't like the freedom of speech is like the freedom to assemble, peacefully assemble or something like that.
well, freedom of assembly is part of that First Amendment, not the same thing as freedom of speech.
That's to assemble, you're all going
It
together.
has to do with who you get together with, who you're hanging out.
But yeah, but you're like telling them to-
It's like saying, I can't hang out with you.
Oh, what?
But that.
And it'd really be more like the government saying
Yeah.
you can't hang out. By the way, does the government tell certain people they can't hang out?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The ISIS.
Yeah, no, if you're on a terrorist watch list, they're not gonna let you rent a meeting hall and get people together. If you are, in Mount Vernon, if, Officer Gerondale is driving by in his car and he sees a group of young men all wearing blue hanging out, is he gonna make them disperse?
Maybe.
Yeah. Based on, he's gonna do that for the common good based on history of gang activity, especially in certain neighborhoods, so, that will happen. So, again, are your rights absolute everywhere all the time?
No.
Now, I got this thing here,
Wait,
liberty.
I have a
Yes.
question.
Oh, I
Is
got that too.
the right the same as anywhere else?
What do you mean?
But like,
If you were to go to England with the rest of the
Great question, and the answer is
No.
no.
but I thought
Listening to the radio this morning,
everybody like got together and then they made the rights.
in the United States, they did, but that doesn't cover the rest of the world. So, do we have freedom of the press as part of the First Amendment?
Yeah.
Listening to the radio this morning, trying to avoid Super Bowl news because it was too depressing. I was listening to a story out of Egypt. They just let an Australian reporter out of jail. He'd been in an Egyptian jail without charges for over 400 days because they didn't like the reporting he was doing. He worked for Al Jazeera English, the English language of the news organization Al Jazeera, and they were talking about politics in Egypt, and they arrested him and his photographer and the other reporter he worked with. Him and his photographer, and then the other guy that they're working to get free has been for over 500 days in an Egyptian jail cell. Again, he's never been charged. They just said, we don't like what you're saying, and they put him in a jail cell. So, is he getting due process? No. He's not even been charged with anything. He's just been told, you're gonna stay in jail.
That's fun.
So liberty, what can I say about liberty?
Yeah, but freedom.
Yeah, so liberty means. So I'm gonna have, when I write my sentences, I'm gonna have to extend this idea of freedom of speech to my valuing freedom altogether. Freedom as a value. Do I have enough to
No.
get a rough draft going?
No.
I think so. I think I do.
coders?